Hey everyone, TravBro here. I will be playing Katawa Shoujo. It is like an RPG style game where you're playing as a young boy who has health problems, and you get transferred to this school where there are the students with health problems, and you have to try to find a love interest. But enough about me. Let's get started. Music was very beautiful. A light breeze causes the naked branches overhead to rattle like wooden wind chimes. This is a popular retreat for couples in the summer. The deciduous trees provide a beautiful green canopy, far out of sight of teachers and fellow students. But now, in late winter, it feels like I'm standing under a pile of kindling. I breathe into my cupped hands and rub them together furiously to prevent them from numbing in this cold. Just how long am I expected to wait out here anyway? I'm sure the note said 4 o'clock p.m. Ah, yes, the note slipped between the pages of my math book while I wasn't looking. As far as the cliches go, I'm more a fan of the letter in the locker, but at least this way shows a bit of initiative. As I ponder the meaning of the note, the snowfall gradually thickens. The snowflakes silently falling from the white painted sky are the only sign of time passing in this stagnant world. Nice use of vocabulary. The slow descent upon the frozen forest makes it seem like time has slowed to a crawl. The rustling of dry snow underfoot startles me, interrupting the quiet mood. Someone is approaching me from behind. Hey, Sao, you came? A hesitating, barely audible question. However, I recognize the owner of that dainty voice instantly. I feel my heart skip a beat. It's a voice I've listened to hundreds of times, but never as more than an eavesdropper to a conversation. I turn to face this voice, the voice of my dreams, and my heart begins to race. Oh, she's pretty. Why are you wearing a skirt in the winter? Awanako, I got a note telling me to wait here. It was yours? Damn it, I spent all afternoon trying to come up with a good line and that was the result. Pathetic. Yes, I asked a friend to give you that note. I'm so glad you got it. A shy, joyous smile that makes me so tense I couldn't move a single muscle even if I tried. By the way, I'm using, a different audio recording program called Camtasia instead of Bandicam, so I don't have a limit or a watermark on my thing. Anyways, my heart is pounding now, as if it were trying to burst out from my chest and claim the score for itself. Well, I think this is a kid with the heart problems. So, here we are, out in the cold. Once again, the wind stirs up the branches. The cacophonous noise is music to my ears. I don't know. Cacophonous? Cacophonous, alright. Awanako flinches over so softly against the gust of wind. As it passes, she rights herself as if supported by some new confidence. Her eyes lock with mine as she lazily twirls her long, dark hair around her finger. All the while, the anxious beating of my heart grows louder. My throat is tight. I doubt I could even force a word out if I tried. You see, I wanted to know if you go out with me. I stand there motionless, save for my pounding heart. I want to say something in reply, but my vocal cords feel like they've been stretched beyond the breaking point. Hey, Sal? I reach up to try to massage my throat, but this only sent spikes of blinding pain along my arms. Hey, Sal! Yep, heart disease. My whole body freezes, save for my eyes, which shoot open in terror. The sound of heartbeats makes me very uncomfortable and tense up. I don't know why. The heart, like throbbing noises make me just like, ugh. Hey, Sao! The beating in my chest suddenly stops and I go weak at the knees. The world around me, the canopy of bare branches, the dull winter sky, Iwanako running towards me, all else fades to black. The last thing I remember before slipping away are the sounds of Awanako screaming for me, for the incessant clatter of the branches to move. Ugh. Oh, screaming for help in the... Yeah, whatever. I am bad at reading today. I'm so sorry. He lives! 4 Leaf Studios presents Katawa Shoujo. Inspiration, Raita. That's some nice animation there. Credit goes out to those guys. You know, I'm kind of a fan of some anime. I mean, with my ADHD, I can't sit still long enough to actually watch a serious anime. But if it's an interactable type of anime, kind of like this, I get sucked into it, and I really like it. So RPGs are pretty cool for me, so I can get in touch with anime, but not have to sit there and watch it. I'll be done. But considering you can choose pretty much anything you can do in this game, I kind of like it. It gives some sense of creativity. But I'm into funnier anime, which is the kind of anime I can actually sit through and watch. My 2 favorite animes happen to be Shin-Chan and Boba 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 Bo. I don't know why, but Boba Bo is just a really funny anime to me, and I will never stop loving it. It's been 4 months since my heart attack. Oh, looks nice. And the whole time, I could probably count the times I've left this hospital room unsupervised on one hand. 4 months is a pretty long time if you're left alone with your thoughts, so I've had plenty of time to come to terms with my situation. Arrhythmia. Alright. A strange word, a foreign alien one that you don't want to be in the same room with. A rare condition. It causes the heart to act erratically and occasionally beat way too fast. It can be fatal. Apparently I've had it for a long time. They said it was a miracle that I was able to go on so long without anything happening. Is that really a miracle? I guess it was supposed to make me feel better, more appreciative of my life. It really didn't do anything to cheer me up. My parents, I think, were hit harder by the news than I was. They practically had 2 hemorrhages apiece. I've already a full day by then to digest everything. To them, it was all fresh. They were even willing to sell our house in order to pay for a cure. Of course, there wasn't a cure. Because of the late discovery of this condition, I've had to stay at the hospital to recuperate from the treatments. When I first was admitted, it felt as if I was missed. For about a week, my room in the ward was full of flowers, balloons, and cards. But the visitors soon dwindled, and all the great will gifts began trickling down to nothing shortly after. I realized that the only reason I had gotten so many cards and flowers was because sending me their symphony had been turned into a class project. Maybe some people were genuinely concerned, but I doubt it. Even in the beginning, I barely had visitors. By the end of the first month, only my parents came by on a regular basis. Awanako was the first one to stop visiting. Last to stop visiting. If she was the first to stop visiting, she'd be a bitch. After 6 weeks, I never saw her again. We never had that much to talk about when she visited anyway. We didn't touch the subject that was between us on that snowy day ever again. The hospital? It's not really a place I'd like to live in. The doctors and nurses feel so impersonal and faceless. I guess it's because they're in a hurry and they have a million other patients waiting for them, but it makes me feel uncomfortable. For the first month or so, I asked the head cardiologist every time I saw him for a rough estimate of when I'd be able to leave. He never answered anything in a straightforward way, but told me to wait and see if the treatment and surgeries worked. So I idly observed the scar that those surgeries had left in my chest, slowly changing its appearance over time, thinking of it as some kind of omen. I still asked the head cardiologist about leaving, but my expectations are low enough now that I am not disappointed anymore when I don't get a reply. The way he shuffles around the answer shows that there is at least some hope. At some point, I stopped watching TV. I don't know why, I just did. Maybe it was the wrong kind of escapism for my situation. I started reading instead. There's a small library at the hospital, although it was more like a storeroom for books. I began working my way through it, one small stack at a time. After consuming them, I would go back for more. Kind of like me and Chinese food. I found that I liked reading, and I think I even became a bit addicted. I started feeling naked without a book in my hands. But I loved the stories. That was what my life was like. The days became increasingly harder to distinguish from each other, differing only by the book I was reading and the weather outside. It felt like time had blurred into some kind of gooey mass I was trapped inside, instead of moving within. A week could go by without me really noticing it. Sometimes I'd pause in realization that I didn't know what day of the week it was. But other times, all the things that surrounded me would painfully crash into my consciousness, though the barrier of nonchalance I had set up for myself. The pages of my book would start to feel sharp and burning hot, and the heaviness of my chest would become so hard to bear that I had to put the book aside and just lay down for a while, looking at the ceiling as if I was going to cry. But that happened only rarely. And I couldn't even cry. Today, the doctor comes in and gives me a smile. He seems excited, but not very. It's like he's trying to make an effort to be happy on my behalf. My parents are here. It's been a few days since I have last seen them. Both of them are so dressed up. Is this supposed to be some kind of special occasion? It's not a party. There is a ritual the head cardiologist has. He takes his time sorting his papers, then setting them aside as if to make a point of the pointlessness of what he's just did. Then he casually sits down on the edge of the bed next to mine. He looks at me in the eyes for a moment. "Hello, Hasayo. How are you today?" I don't answer him, but I smile a little, back at him. "I believe that you can go home. Heart is stronger now, and with some precautions, you should be fine. We have all your medication sorted out. I'll give your father the prescription." The doctor hands a sheet of paper to my dad, whose expression turns wooden as he reads it quickly. So many. I take it from his hand to take a peek myself, feeling numb. How am I supposed to react to this? The absurdly long list of medication, diarrhea, staring back at me from the paper seems insurmountable. They all blend together in a sea of letters. This is insane! Side effects, adverse effects, contraindications, the dosages are listed line after line with cold precision. I try to read them, but it's too futile. I can't understand any of it. Attempting to only makes me feel sicker. All this for the rest of my life, every day? I'm afraid that is the best we could do at this point. However, new medications are always being developed, so I wouldn't be surprised to see if this list fade over the years. Years? What kind of confidence booster is that? I'd have felt better if he didn't say anything at all. So I've spoken with your parents, and we believe that it would be best if you didn't return to your old school. What? Please, calm down, Isao. Listen to what the doctor has to say. Calm down? The way he says it tells me how he knew full well that I wouldn't like it. Am I going to be homeschooled? Whatever of my concern shows, it's ignored. We all understand that your education is paramount. However, I don't think that it's wise for you to be without supervision. At least not until we're sure that your medication is suitable. So I've spoken to your parents about a transfer. It's a school called Yamako Academy that specializes in dealing with disabled students. Disabled? What am I? It has a 24-hour nursing staff that's only a few minutes from a highly regarded general hospital. The majority of students live on the campus. Think of it as a boarding school of sorts. It's designed to give students a degree of independence while keeping help nearby. Independence? It's a school for disabled kids. Don't try to disguise that fact. If it was really that free, there wouldn't be a 24-hour nursing staff, and you wouldn't make a hospital being nearby a selling point. Sorry. Of course, it's only if you want to go. But your mother and I aren't able to homeschool you. We went out there and had a look a couple weeks back. I think you'd like it. The dad's an evil son of a bitch, by the way. It sounds like I really didn't have a choice. Compared to the other heart problems, people with your condition usually tend to live long lives. You'll need a job one day, and this is a good opportunity to continue your education. This isn't an opportunity. Don't call it an opportunity. Don't call it a goddamn opportunity. Well, you should be excited at the chance to go back to school. I remember you wanted to return to school. It's not, the same one. A special school, that's an insult. That's what I want to say. To step down. Is that what you think? All of the students there are pretty active, in their own sort of way. It's geared towards students that can still get around and learn, but just need that help in one way or the other. Your father's right, and many of the graduates of the school have gone to do amazing things. A person doesn't have to be held back by their disability. One of my colleagues in another hospital is a graduate. I don't care. A person doesn't have to be held back by their disability. That's what a disability is. I really hate that something so important is decided for me. But what can I do about it? A normal life is out of question now. It's funny. I had always thought my life was actually kind of boring, but now I miss it. I want to protest. I want to blame this lack of reaction on shock or fatigue. I could easily yell out something now. Something about how I can go back to school anyway, but no.